Yeah, so just okay. So it was 0.29, 0.29, 0.26, 0.2. Okay, and then 0.15 and then 0.10. Then I did this. These are the smallest one. That is 10. So total is 0.25. So yeah, so this is smaller, still smaller. So then I had to go to this 10. Then I'll have 0.45.
Sir, then it will get problem. Sir,
What?
we have to take 2.5 about 2.
2.5
Above 0.2.
But it doesn't matter because we are merging these two probabilities. Still, we're going to merge 2 and 6
Yes, sir.
to 5.
There will be no problem.
What?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir, that will be okay.
Yes.
We'll just
Okay.
receive a different code word, but the length will be same.
Yeah, so and then yeah, this one.
Excuse me, sir.
No,
Sir,
sir. In this step, we
0.26
have
and
to take.
0.29 are less than 0.45.
Point?
0.26 and 0.29 are less than 0.45. So we have to merge first two.
What is 965? No, that will be 0.55, right?
But sir,
This
these
is 0.
individual probabilities are less than 0.45. At this stage, we have total 3 probabilities, and these upper twos are less than 0.45. So we merge first two.
Yes, sir. This is aware.
No, it's not individual probability. It's the sum of the probabilities, right?
No, sir, but at this stage, we are actually getting 3 probabilities. One is then we have to arrange in decreasing order. So the top probability is 0.45, and the least two probabilities are 0.26 and 0.29. So according to theorem, we have to merge least two probabilities in each case.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did a mistake. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so then I have to take here. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So I have to take these two. Then it is 0, 1, and then it will be 0.55. And then we have this. Okay, 1, 0. Okay, so I think then it will change. So it will be 0, 0, right? 0, 0. It will be 0, 1. Then it will be 1, 0. And then it will be 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, then maybe a calculation will match. So 0.29. Okay, 0.2 times 0.29 plus 2 times 0.26 plus 2 times 0.2 plus 3 times 0.15 plus 3 times 0.10. So if we do that, then what we have? Yeah, 8, 10, 5 plus 5, 2 plus 0.4 plus, what is that, 0.15, 45. So 0.45 plus 0.30. So this will be 5 plus 2 plus 8, so 15. And 5, 1. So 3, 7, 7 plus 4, 11, 11 plus 5, 16. 16 plus 6, 22. Okay, 2.25 is the answer. Okay, I have to update it. Okay, got it. I did a mistake here. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2.25. Okay, I got it. Yeah, so I'll change that in this thing in Moodle. Other questions were so there were a mistake in the question. I think I have to do it manually. I cannot change the options. I think, yeah, I'll do it manually. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other issues?
For question number 4 and 6, marks will be given to all, right?
Yeah. To all. So I have to do it manually. Yeah. Because I cannot manipulate there in Moodle. Yeah. So then this will be 0 plus, that was the tolerance, right? So it will be from, answer will be from 0.15 to 0.8, sorry, 2.35. That's the answer. Okay. Yeah, anything else?
Sir, can you explain question number 8 once? Sir, in that the tertiary code is given and we have to construct prefix code and tell with the which terminals
Where
are
is that? Question number
8.
Question number 8. What is there? In the process of construction of prefix code. Yeah, so follows from the definition of the full tree. Yeah. So in the process of construction of prefix code from this, so what you do basically when this, so first you have to check this. So that's why it is already mentioned that you can always construct the prefix code. These numbers like N1, N2, N3, N4, N5, they must satisfy the Craft inequality, right? So these numbers will satisfy the Craft inequality. I check that. So you can have a prefix code, right? And then, yeah, and then how do you get the code? So then you have to pick the max. So max is 3 here. So
Actually,
you
in
have to,
case, sir, total
yeah,
number of leaves if we constructed tertiary key is maximum is 27 because it's we are taking 3, maximum length is 3. And
yeah. So 27 minus 2.
but
This 2,
sir,
3 will,
the
yeah.
length of which we are using for length 2. So after that the means the nodes we cannot be extend to their leaf. So should we subtract these also?
No. This is ternary code word. So for each point there will be 3 nodes. From each point there will 3 nodes will be generating. So if you draw the tree, it will look like, yeah, I think it will look like something like this. This is the first, and then you'll have this, then you'll have this, then you'll have this, and then for each of these you'll have again 3. Let's say this, okay, this, yeah, this. You have to keep on doing this. Now when you are deciding the what is called the codes, okay, so there will be 22 to the power 7, right? But the thing is, yeah, so anyway, so you can draw it, right? So now what is there? This 2, 2, 2 means you have to
Excuse me, but
take,
sir,
what is the
when we
question?
take yes, sir, but when we take the length 2 codes, so they cannot extend to 3 because we
Yeah,
already used for 2. So
yeah,
9 is already less than because of 3 lengths. So we cannot use from these two to extend further leaves. Right?
yeah. So out of 27, you only have to use 2. So unused terminal nodes, meaning which are not used for the coding.
But sir, for the
So terminal nodes which are not,
also we can't use 9 of terminals node because we already use their in the case of 2 lengths. Means if we want to
no.
extend, but we cannot use 9 of them because we already use 4
No.
lengths.
Yeah, so these, for example, you have used not this one, but let's say this one. So you cannot then choose this one, right? This is correct. So this is unused then. At the level 3, these are unused. You cannot use that. So unused terminal nodes. So you can only use 2. So depending on whether you had chosen this one, sorry, you had chosen this one or this one, doesn't matter. Whatever you choose doesn't matter. So these are all unused, right? So you cannot use those terminal nodes. So you will use actually, because there are 2 code words of length 3. So there will be only 2 nodes used in the prefix code.
But sir,
So the rest are
prefix code, and we take means 2 length code, we cannot extend it further. So they are not.
No. Full tree. No. Full tree is the full tree. That's the definition of full tree. You can see the lecture.
Okay, sir.
Full tree is the full tree means it is the complete tree. Whatever you have, complete tree.
Yes.
You can, because you can always extend, because now it is up to you. The choice is up to you which one to consider, whether to consider this one or whether to consider this one. So you always have to draw the full tree, and then once you fix the particular node, then you cannot choose, of course, the other nodes which are originating from there. So you always have to, full tree means all possible branches are there, the entire tree, the full tree. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt? Yeah. Okay. Any other doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, so we have 3 questions that are that are having like problems in their answer, like the question 2nd, 4th, and 6th, right?
Which one? Which one?
2nd, 4th.
Yeah. So 6. Yeah. Second, I will change the answer, so that is not a problem. That I can fix it in Moodle. But the question number 4, I'll have to do it manually, and question number 6, I have to do it manually. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So in Moodle, I can change that. So that option 2.25 instead of 2.54. So it will automatically mark if the answer is correct or not. So that is not a problem. The problem is with this one. Because this I cannot change the answer, because in the data there is a problem. But anyway, I am considering that. But anyway, so for example, it is PE, for example, in question number 6, it is coming with 1.1. It is meaningless, but anyway, so I'm considering that to be okay. So this was my mistake. Instead of 2.1 bits, I should have taken 1.1 bits. So anyway, I didn't notice that. And question number 4, of course, there is a problem. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Okay. Yeah. And so, okay, so I said I'll conduct the Viva next week, but I'll not do next week, but next to next week, okay? Because Friday I have some other program. I think Friday there is a holiday. So yeah, so I have to give some lecture to some place, so I'll not be able to take that class because it was Friday. It was, I forgot actually. It was decided. I mean, it was already decided earlier. Okay, so
Sir, earlier you said that Viva will be on 1st and 2nd. So it is moving a week from that day only?
Yeah. So it will be now from, let's say, 8th and 9th. Not 8th. Yeah, 8th and 9th. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
8th and 9th.
Sir, I think 2nd is a holiday, not next Friday. Next to next Friday is holiday, I think.
Yeah. 2nd is next to next Friday. Yeah. You are right. Yeah, you are right. Not next day, next to next week. So yeah, that's true. So that week I thought I will conduct the Viva, but I'll not do that. After that week I'll conduct. So it is like 8th and 9th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2nd I am already occupied. I forgot that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, we started talking about what is called.
Sir,
Yeah.
Sir, last data I didn't get clock in my screen.
Didn't get what?
Sir, clock.
Clock means?
So there is a clock in screen of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Time clock.
Okay. So it was not showing in your screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe that is a Moodle problem. So maybe, yeah, I may inform it to them, but I don't know. It is their problem. Maybe it's some technical problem. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we started talking about what is called a linear block code. Just linear code. And here the idea is we have you have 2 to the power k. So this is 0, 1, 2 to the power k. So there are 2 to the power k elements here. And this forms a vector space. This is what we said. And then, so this is, so let's say x1, x2, some xk, xi belongs to 0, 1. So this is a set of all binary strings of length k. Okay. And now I have to convert it into a set of strings of length n. So what I do is, so I consider the set or the vector space 0, 1, 2 to the power n. So any entry here, so let me denote this as a vector space, and any entry here in the right hand side, okay, any string is of length n. So it is also, you can say y1, y2, yn, and yi or yj belongs to 0, 1. And we assume that n is bigger than k. And then we said a linear code is nothing but a subspace of this. So a subspace means this is a vector space. So there must be a subset of 2 to the power k entries or elements of strings of length n. So, and then we said this is realized by a matrix, which is called the generator matrix. So we denoted the generator matrix G as this, P and IK. So what was the dimension here? The dimension was K times N. So when G takes from left to right, it means we are multiplying from the left hand side, because the elements in the vector space in the left hand side or in the right hand side, both are all are row vectors. Okay, so we have to multiply from the left. And so any code, we said, okay, any code word V is nothing but U times G. So where this U is in 0, 1 to the power k. So obviously row space means it's a vector space. So I have a linear code, which means this is a subspace of 0, 1 to the power n. And then we talked about, okay, how to understand whether when you are sending something from this to that, and then you are transmitting this strings of 0, 1 of length n through some noisy channel. And then the question will be, so there are two parts of the code word. So this V is actually, there are two parts. One is this k many part, this is k many, and this is n minus k many. So this we said as parity. Okay, and this is the information, like the code word from the left hand. So this is the original one, you can say. Now the thing is, so we are putting some ad hoc 0, 1s here. Okay, now the thing is, when this V get transmitted through some noisy channel, so there is a channel here. So this channel is noisy, and this get transmitted, then there is a chance that whatever you wanted to transmit, that is not transmitted due to some noise, and some of the bits, okay, are flipped. So then the question will be, how do you detect if there is some error? Question will be, how do you detect that error? And we said we'll take help of this other the parity bits, and we'll try to see like how can we determine this. So then we define what is called a parity matrix, which is H, and this matrix was like I n minus k p transpose. So yeah, so this is n minus k times n, right? This is n minus k times n, and what? Yeah, and we also said that, okay, G dot H transpose is equal to 0, which essentially means that the row space is orthogonal to H. So that means That means any code V which is in the row space, V times H transpose is always equal to 0. So for any code word. So this is one way to, is one property of the code word, that if we know the parity matrix, if we know the generator matrix, then of course we can construct the parity matrix, and whether a binary string, okay, of length n is a code word or not, that can be verified checking whether V times H transpose is equal to 0 or not. So for any code word V. So now the question comes that, okay, we said you send V, you encode this U by V, and through this there is a channel and you received R. Okay, we may write like this to honor to note this as a vector. So then R is the received one. Okay. So, and we call this entire code as NK code because N and K, they are the prime things here. Okay. They are the numbers which decide the code. So we say this is NK linear code, and we denote it by, so denoted by some C. So this also C is that subspace. Okay. Yeah. So R is the received vector. Okay. And this is the output of the channel. Okay. Now, since R could be erroneous or not, that I don't know. So this R could be some, need not be equal to B basically. Okay. So it could be some vectors. And if it is some vector, then of course we can say this is some error vector is there. This E is called error vector, right? So that means, okay, this R is this. So that means this error, okay, is nothing but R plus V. So everything is plus here. You don't have to write minus because it's a modulo sum. Plus is equal to minus. I mean, plus 1 is equal to minus 1 and plus 0 equal to, of course, minus 0. So let me denote this error as E0, E1 up to some En minus 1. Okay, so this is a string of bits of length n. Okay, so the thing is, if ei equal to 1, okay, when, okay, ei equal to 1 when, let's say, Ri is not equal to Vi, okay, and otherwise ei equal to 0, and equal to 0, okay, when Ri is equal to Vi. So that's the error we have. So this vector is called the error vector. Error vector, or something also called error pattern. Okay. And the number of ones here in the error vector, that is important. So that means how many errors, okay, are being made when it passed through the original code word V, when it passed through the channel, okay, and due to this noise. Yeah, so see, R equal to B plus E, as I said, R equal to, of course, B plus E, and the receiver knows only R. Okay, the receiver does not know about B, and the receiver does not know about the error also. So only thing is that the receiver knows R. Okay, and receiver has to decide whether R contains any error, I mean the transmission error or not. And if there is an error, suppose it is detectable, and suppose it is the receiver has detected whether there is an error or not, then the decoder or the receiver should do what? So it should attempt to take, it will then locate the error where the error is, and then it has to correct it. And suppose it is unable to do it, there are so many errors, then possibly the receiver would, or the decoder will ask the sender to retransmit the code word. That's the only possibility. Okay. So then the question is now, the question here is, how does a decoder determine an error, and once it is detected, okay, and how to fix it, okay. how to fix it, and how to fix it. That's the question. Okay. Now, what possibly could this decoder do is that I'll define something called the syndrome. Okay, so I'll be talking about a decoding procedure, which is called actually syndrome decoding procedure. So the decoder decides a vector, calculates this what is called syndrome of the received vector. So syndrome of the received code word, R. So this is the received one. So, and this is S, we'll denote it by S. So S is equal to, the syndrome is defined as R dot H transpose. Okay. Now, so let me write it then, this as some S0, S1 up to Sn minus K minus 1. Now, once it does that, okay, it could be either 0 or it could be non-zero, this S. Now, if S is 0, then what will happen? If S is 0, that means, see, there is this code word satisfies this condition. The code word satisfies this condition that if V is the code word, then V times H transpose is equal to always 0. So once the decoder receives the vector R, so the receiver can compute R times H transpose. That means the syndrome. And if the syndrome is 0, okay, if this is equal to 0, then definitely R is a code word. It is right or wrong, that doesn't matter. But R, so whatever decoder has received, that is a code word. R is a code word. Okay. And if the syndrome is a non-zero vector, then the received one is not a code word. Not a code word. Okay. So if S is not equal to 0, okay, then the error is detected. But S does not equal to 0 does not also mean that that is the right code word, because S equal to 0 means R is a code word, but R is a correct code word or not, meaning R is equal to V or not, that decoder does not know. Okay, so then if S is not equal to 0, then the error is detected. Error is detected. Otherwise, if S equal to 0, okay, so the decoder accepts R as a code word, as the intended code word, as the code word. However, so R may contain error, and then this error is not detected. So it is not a detectable error then. And when can this happen? That R is a code word, but it is not detectable. Not detectable. This can happen only when this error, got the error, that is also a code word. Then only it can happen. Why? Because we are having a vector space here. Okay, the right hand side, this is the received code words. So R is somewhere here. Okay, and B is also somewhere here. So B plus R is also here. So R is received, okay, and R is also erroneous. It means the error pattern or the error vector E has to be here as well, because it is a vector space. Because R plus B is E. So E also has to belong to this subspace because it is closed under addition. Okay, so this can happen. This is an undetected error, not detectable. Okay, which means which means E is also a code word. Also a code word. Since the code C, okay, is a vector space. Okay. Yeah. Now, how many such error can be there? How many such vectors can be there? Non-zero. Because zero has no meaning. Because zero error means there is no error, right? So everything is now sub-zero. So if we add any vector with zero vector, this will give you the same vector, right? So if you add zero, if E is equal to just the zero vector, so then R equal to B. So zero cannot introduce any error, okay? Or how many elements are there in this vector space in the linear code? So there are 2 to the power k so 2 to the power k elements are there, and zero vector is also there, but zero vector will not contribute to the error. So there is a chance that 2 to the power k minus 1 errors which are possible and which are undetectable. Right? So essentially this means therefore 2 to the power k such error patterns, k minus 1 error patterns are undetectable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let us see what happens to this S when I calculate this. Okay. S equal to R dot H. Now observe S is equal to R dot H transpose. But R is nothing but original vector V, the original code word B plus E, the error. Okay. Original vector. Okay. So first let us calculate this. Okay. R dot H. What is that? So I just wanted to check what is that. Okay. So if this is the case, then this gives you a linear system. I mean, question will be, how do I detect the error, right? So how do I detect the error? That is the question here. R is the received one. I'll first calculate the syndrome, and I'll check that whether from these equations, like S equal to R times H transpose, whether I can detect the error or not. Okay. H I know already that it is I n minus k P transpose. So if I put it here, okay, I multiply the row vector, so then I will have something for S naught, something for S1, and so on. Something for Sn minus k minus 1. Okay. And so this something will be nothing but, see, R is what? R naught, R1 dot 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 Rn minus 1. Now, if we multiply this with H transpose, so then H transpose will be nothing but In minus K and P here, right? So when you multiply R with this H transpose, the first entry of R will be there because it will get multiplied with the identity. So the element 1, and the rest will be equal to 0, and then the rest will be multiplied with P. Okay, so essentially it will be R naught plus this is N minus K, so N minus K P00, because we are starting from R0. So this is basically the N minus K plus 1 times P00 plus R N minus K plus 1 P10 plus dot 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 plus Rn minus 1 Pk minus 10. Then S1 will be R1 plus Rn minus K P01 plus Rn minus K plus 1 plus 1 P11 plus dot 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 Rn minus 1 Pk minus 1 1, and it goes on, and here essentially I'll have r n minus k minus 1 plus r n minus k p 0 comma n minus k minus 1 plus so on r n minus 1 p k minus 1 n minus k minus 1. Okay, so from here what do we see? We see that the syndrome, the S vector, okay, the syndrome, so here is the role of this parity entries. So this R vector is a received vector. So syndrome, it's just the sum of, okay, the parity digits with the parity check digits multiplied and nothing else. So basically this part is the inner product of these two vectors. It is nothing but the parity digits with the parity check digits. Okay, or the received digits with the parity check digits. Okay, so that means since we have this kind of an algebraic expression, we can design a circuit which can implement this. So syndrome can easily be calculated. This is the main point I wanted to draw here. That since plus can be computed, plus this is nothing but plus and multiplication, right? Addition and multiplication. So we can always design a circuit which will implement that. So it is not very difficult to compute this syndrome vector, and the main thing is that the parity digits, they will contribute, and the received digits that will contribute in order to compute the syndrome of the received vector. Okay, so now again further you see S dot is equal to R times H transpose, but R is equal to V plus E. So this times H transpose. So this is H times V times H transpose plus E times H transpose. But this is 0 because although we do not know what V is and we do not know what E is, but this is 0 because V is a code word. So essentially what we have is that this is nothing but the syndrome is nothing but E dot H transpose. Now it may seem like, okay, we are ready to, since we can compute this, we can have a circuit for this. Now we know H, so we can compute the error here. So what is the equation here? S naught we know. Okay, so S naught will be some E naught plus En minus 1, same thing, P00 plus En minus K plus 1, P10 plus dot 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 plus En minus 1, Pk minus 1, 0. And it you keep on doing that, so it will be N minus K minus 1 is equal to En minus K minus 1 plus whatever, dot dot dot. So En minus 1, P K minus 1, N minus K minus 1. So this is just a linear system. So it may apparently seem like, since this is a set of linear equations, okay, and I know everything, the SIs I know, and I know the PIJs, so I can easily solve this and I can find out what the errors are, okay, just from the syndrome itself. But this is not possible. Why? This is N minus K linear equations, let's say here, okay, but the solution need not be unique. So there are n unknowns and n minus K equations. So definitely there are more than one solutions. So so that's the problem here. But the system, this linear system does not have a unique solution. Okay. Therefore, we cannot solve this. We cannot find all possible solutions of that. In fact, when you do something computationally, you will see. So we have multiple solutions. Now, which one is the error that we don't know? Okay, so we cannot detect actually what is the error here. Now, can anybody tell me how many solutions of this equation would be? How many solutions it can have? I already said this. We'll prove it later also in a different language. but I already said this. How many solutions will be there? See, how many solutions means once you have a syndrome, how many errors could be there? That will be the solution. Number of errors is nothing but number of code words which are undetectable. Okay, and code words are like 2 to the power k. So there will be 2 to the power k solutions here, because you do not know which one is the solution, which one is actually the error. So this could be multi. So we'll prove that later also. So we cannot detect the error just by solving this linear system of equation. So we have to find some other way out. Okay, how to find this linear solution. So for that, we'll use what we discussed last day is called the weight. Okay, minimum weight of a code. So minimum weight of a code is nothing but the number of non-zero bits. Okay, in a code word. Okay, so that's the minimum weight, the minimum number of non-zero digits, whatever the vector is. So that will be called the. So basically, whatever we have defined, the minimum weight of a code word was nothing but if you have to consider all the weights. Okay, let's say some vector x, where x belongs to C and x is not equal to 0. So minimum of all this will give you the minimum weight of the linear code C. Now we'll show that if C is there's a n minus k code. So and the first question is, so this we will be using because we already discussed what is the use of that. We said, okay, if this is the minimum one, then whatever the value of this is, doesn't matter. Then what happens if, so if you have a code, nk code, and if we have this as a subspace, and let's say the minimum distance between all these code words is, let's say 5. So that means whenever I receive some R, and the R is, let's say, number of non-zero weights, okay, non-zero one is less than 5, that means there is an error, okay, that I can detect. So there is a connection between minimum weight of the code and the error vector, whether there is an error in the code received vector or not. So first thing is how to decide, how to calculate this minimum weight. Okay, so I'll give you a way how to calculate directly the minimum weight, okay, from the parity matrix. So that is also one of the uses of the parity matrix. So you don't have to calculate. So because there are too many elements, there is 2 to the power k entries. Okay, so this is exponential 2 to the power k. So you cannot just calculate key setting. You cannot just calculate what is the number of non-zero entries for each code word. It is not possible. So, but we need to do that so that we can know that how many errors we can detect. Okay, so I'll give you a way to detect what is the value of this this minimum weight of the code from the parity matrix H. Okay, so this is how it goes. So this is a theorem, but it's very simple theorem. So if C is a C is a n comma k code, okay, linear code with parity check matrix H, then okay, you can suppose C, this C is a code n minus n comma k code with parity check matrix H. Okay, then for this is an interesting property of the parity matrix. Then for each code word, okay, code word of Hamming weight. Hamming weight means the number of bits 1, okay, in the code word. So the Hamming weight for each code word of Hamming weight, let's say some L, there must exist L columns of H such that of H such that, okay, the sum of those L columns, okay, is equal to the zero vector. Okay, conversely, so what is happening? So if you have a code word of Hamming, so and there are L number of ones in the code word, then there must exist L columns in H whose sum is also equal to 0. That means what is happening here is, if we just look at the parity matrix and just sum up some of the columns, and you see that in order to make the sum of the columns to be equal to 0 vector, you need some minimum number, let's say 2, 3, 5, whatever the number is, to make that to be equal to 0. That means you have a bound for the minimum weight just by looking at the parity matrix H. Okay, and this converse is also true. Conversely, the proof is very simple, although conversely, if there are L columns of H, okay, whose sum is 0, the measurements is a 0 vector, then there is the code word with Hamming weight L. With Hamming weight L. Okay, let us just prove that and then we'll see what is the consequence of this. So what we are saying here, we are saying that if you have any code word of Hamming weight L, so we have to show that there are L columns of H whose sum is 0. Okay, whose sum is a 0 vector. How do you do that? Okay, so let H be this matrix. Okay, so H has n columns. So let's say this is H0, H1, dot dot Hn minus 1. Now, if you have a code word whose Hamming weight is L, it means what? You must have some code word B, which is B0, B1, dot dot Vn minus 1. Then L many of these entries are 1. Okay, so without loss of generality, assume that Vi1, Vi2, VIL are L non-zero entries of V. Okay, so then, and these non-zero entries are actually equal to 1. Then V dot H transpose, which is actually equal to 0, is nothing but, if you multiply this, okay, with all the columns of H, because V is a row vector. So this is like, you have this V vector and then you have this H. So this will go with the first column, then this will go with the second column and so on. So if we have this V, so what will happen? So there are some positions where it is non-zero, then you will actually pick the corresponding element here. Okay, so but this, see, here I wrote H and this is H transpose. So whatever the column here, the corresponding rows are here. Okay, these rows are basically the columns H0, H1 and dot dot Hn minus 1. So whenever there is, let's say I1, there is I2 and so on, then the corresponding column will be picked up. Okay, so V dot H transpose in that case will be some B0 H0 plus V1 H1 plus dot 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 Vn minus 1, Hn minus 1, but most of them are 0 except the L many, and those columns will remain, others will be 0. So it is like Vi1 H0 or Hi1 plus Vi2 Hi2 plus dot 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 plus VIL HIL. But these VIs are nothing but 1, so it is nothing but I1 plus HI2 plus dot 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 plus HIL is equal to 0. So that means there are basically L columns of H, okay, whose sum is equal to 0. So if there is any code word, okay, of Hamming weight L, then there are columns, L columns of H whose sum is also equal to 0. And now we're going to prove the converse. So if there are L columns of H whose sum is equal to 0, then there must be a code word, okay, whose Hamming weight is L. Okay. So let us prove the converse. Okay. So proof of the converse. Okay. So what is that? So suppose same thing you can assume HI1, HI2, some L columns are there. Okay. Suppose these are columns of H, okay, such that sum of this equal to 0. HI1 plus HI2 plus HIL. This is equal to 0. Now, can anybody tell me how to construct a code word, okay, whose Hamming weight will be equal to L? So Hamming weight will be equal to L. That means you have to construct a code word. So you have to construct a vector of length n, okay, row vector with n entries. Let's say I want to construct some x. I have to show that this x will have this has to be a code word. Not only that, there will be exactly L positions, so it will be 1. It will be non-zero. So I have to construct vector x such that x times h, okay, transpose will be equal to 0, because that's the definition of code word. So can anybody tell me how to construct this x? So it's very simple. Then I'll not write the proof.
Sir, we can assume in X will be first L will be 1 and remaining will be 0. If you multiply then by this above relation, one portion.
Yeah. So I'll consider this x as those entries. Everywhere it is 0 except those positions xl minus 1, I1, I2, and xil. Okay, and rest are all 0. Let's say rest are all 0. And then if you multiply this x with h terms, then it will be equal to 0, and it has exactly L non-zero entries. So meaning what? Now I have an equivalence, and this equivalence is useful. I'll come to that. That if there is a code word, okay, of Hamming weight L, then there are L number of columns of H whose sum is 0. And if there is L columns of H whose sum is equal to 0, then there is a corresponding code word. Now, what is the intuition here? Why this is very important? Because I want to calculate the Hamming weight of each individual code word. H could be a very small metric compared to, because H dimension is linear, but number of code words is exponential. So I want to work with H only, and I'll be happy to do that. So because I want to get a bound that how many errors it can detect, this parity matrix can detect. H is in your hand. The way you define G, so what was G? G is equal to nothing but this. So P is your, so yeah, this was H, and accordingly you had this G, and G is in your hand. Actually, we'll also talk about some special linear codes, okay, where this P matrix is very, very special. Okay, so this is in your hand. So whatever way you want to design, you can design that. Okay, but this is a linear. This is a linear order. Okay, it is not exponential. So, so the question is, if I want to make a if I want to analyze how many errors I would not be, or I would be able to detect, then that will give me an idea whether my code is good enough or bad enough. Okay, and so I want to compute this minimum length just by looking at the columns of H. Okay, I don't want to calculate Hamming weight of each individual code word. Okay, which is number of code words is 2 to the power k. I don't want to do that. So this theorem gives me a way to find out, okay, the following. So let me just write this in terms of corollary. whatever we can say from this theorem. Okay. First of all, we can say if C is this, so we are assuming that C is a linear block code and H is its parity matrix. So if no, let's say some K minus 1 or distance, so let's say D minus 1 or fewer, okay, fewer number of columns of H, okay, add to the 0 vector, then we can say the code has minimum weight at least D. Okay, so I get a bound for this D. Because if there is minimum weight means what? The number of non-zero entries, right? So if I find, I do not know because I have 2 to the power k many. I don't know. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to calculate all the weights of all the vectors. Okay, I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm doing is I will look at the columns of H and I will, let's say D is equal to 2 or 3. So can there exist some 2 columns, let's say, which can add up to 0 or not? Suppose there is no such. Then I'll go for next, D equal to 3. So can we add 3 columns of which will give me 0 or not? So keep on doing that, I'll get a number, and then from there I can get a bound about my minimum weight. Okay, this is the first thing. And another thing we can say, so this is a bound, say a lower bound. So about minimum weight. And next thing is that the minimum weight of C. So if suppose there is a 0, so suppose I add up to D columns and there is a 0, that means definitely there is a code word, okay, which has D non-zero entries. So with Hamming weight D. So that means that will be the minimum weight because you cannot find below that. Okay, so some of these columns below that number is equal to 0. So you cannot have any other code word having minimum weight less than D. Okay, so the minimum code, so I can directly say the minimum weight, or the minimum weight, the Hamming weight, you can also say Hamming weight, okay, of C. Okay, I can just write of the code C, okay, is exactly the smallest number of columns, columns that add up to the 0 vector. So this is exactly this. So now this is a combinatorial problem. Okay, so I don't have to go to an exponential setup, but I can do it at a linear setup. Let's say there are n columns, so I can just do that. Okay, and I can check. Okay, starting from D equal to 2, 3, 4, and so on. I can just check whether I can find some columns which will add up to 0. Okay. Yeah, so then what will happen? Once I have this minimum weight, I can say, just what I was saying, I think last year also we said the same thing, or discussed the same thing, that if once you receive this vector R, okay, R, and with its weight, let's say, okay, is less than D, okay, then we'll say that this is definitely, there is definitely an error, okay, there is definitely an error because it is below the minimum weight. So we can detect all these errors or error pattern whose Hamming weight is less than the D, the value D, or I can say the D mean of the code C. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so if this is the case, then it guarantees, okay, or it's it guarantees, okay, the detection of an error. This one or to look at how many errors you can detect. Okay. Yeah. And another thing is, this is 2 to the power k elements. So here there are 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power k entries. Okay. In fact, there is a common entry which is 0 vector. So approximately it is the k, you can say. Or you can say this is, there are 2 to the power n minus 1 errors which can, and here you can say number of non-zero vectors 2 to the power number of non-zero vectors here is 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power k minus 1. Okay. Minus 1. Because we can just forget about this. Oh, I didn't think, okay, we need to take minus 1 again because the 0 is already here. I have subtracted that. 0 is a common because both are vector spaces. So identity element will be, I mean, the 0 vector has to be common at least. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So 2 to the power n minus 1 possible non-zero error patterns. There are 2 to the power k minus error patterns that are identical to this non-zero code words. Okay. Okay. Now, what happens if n is very, very bigger than k? See, there is this error, right? If the error here, okay, this E is here, and this E can be, such error can be of type 2 to the power k minus 1. These are undetectable. And if n is very, very larger than bigger than k, okay, then this is compared to this is very, very small. So that means if I take n to be very large, larger than k, then there are only few errors, which is 2 to the power k minus 1, which are undetectable. Others can be detected. So this is the advantage of taking n bigger than k. Then if you take n bigger than k, 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power k will be much, much bigger than 2 to the power k minus 1. And hence we can say that number of detectable error is more than the number of undetectable error. So in some sense, you can say if you calculate the probability of error, that how many possible errors are there and whether it belongs to here or it belongs to here, then we can say that, okay, so probability of error will, error which is not detected is less in comparison to probability of error which is detectable. So because this number here, number of errors here which are undetectable is less when n is very, very larger than k. Okay. So here, this is a brief idea about how many undetectable errors can be there. Okay. Now the next thing will be, if there is an error, okay, how to decode it and how to fix it. Okay. How to fix it and how to, if there is, okay, so if there is an error which is detected, then the question will be how to fix it. This is about how many errors are there which need not be detected. Okay. Now we'll talk about, this is the question now. If error is detected, then how to fix it? How to fix it? Okay. How to rectify the error, basically. So I'll give you one method. There are many methods to do it. I'll give you one method, okay, because this method will work in general for other codes also, other special linear codes, what we'll be talking about next. So I'll give you a method for correcting the error, basically, okay. And yeah, so this method, okay, this method based on a very simple rule, okay. So let me write it this way, that okay, so now let me fix the notation first. So C is my
Sir,
income K code. Yes.
sir, we have studied two methods for error detecting. First is based on syndrome and second is based on Hamming weights. Then, sir, which is more suitable for practically purpose?
No. Based on syndrome, we'll talk about that. Here we said that using this syndrome, we cannot actually calculate the error because this linear system need not have unique solution. So we cannot detect the error. Now we'll be deciding. Now I'll discuss the method how to correct the error and what is the scheme which is called the syndrome decoding. So I said here, I wrote it here just to tell you that errors, how syndrome is related to errors with the parity check. So parity check digits, the error digits, and the syndrome, how to select it. But I also said this cannot be solved because there are many solutions. So you do not know, so you cannot find what the error is. And then I came back to calculating minimum weight in order to check how many errors are undetectable. And I said, and then from there I concluded, okay, if number of n is much bigger than the k, the value k, then number of undetectable error will be less because undetectable error, the error patterns only belong to that subspace which contains to the power k minus 1 entries. But if n is very bigger than k, so there are 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power k entries, which get error pattern which can be detected. Now we'll talk about how to decode, or if there is an error which is detected, how to fix it. So here I said this way you cannot fix the error solving this equation. It is not possible. So there are two things. One is which error, how many errors are there which are not detectable. And then the question is if there is an error detected, so the ratio basically you can also say the 2 to the power n by 2 to the power k. Okay. So and how many errors, if it is detected, then how to fix it? Okay, how many errors could be there which are detected? So because of the error pattern here, you can say this is 2 to the power k minus 1. Okay, that could be undetectable here. Now the thing is, suppose there is an error which is detected, then the question will be how to fix it. And that method is actually, so I'll be discussing a method which is called the syndrome decoding. So here, if you already know that there is error or not, if this Hamming weight of the error vector is less than, let's say d min, okay, the minimum weight of the code, then you know that there is an error, but I did not say how to fix it. How to fix it, that I did not say. Now we'll be talking about how to fix it once it is detected and how to fix it. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so we have a code, nk code, and then how many code words are there? We have, so let's say c equal to 2 to the power k. So v1, v2, okay, these are the code words, v2 to the power k. These are the code words, okay. And when any of this is passed through a channel, okay, when any of this, so any of this is passed through this channel, okay, due to the noise of the channel, okay, so there will be, okay, so there will be like here this set is 0, 1 to the power n. So you'll get one of these vectors, okay, so r will be here because you will get n length, so a string of 0 ones of length n, okay, this is what you will get. Now I'll tell you a procedure through which one can rectify the error, okay, if there is an error. Okay. So what we'll do here is this number of vector here is 2 to the power n. Now, the idea here is I'll divide this set 2 to the power with n elements into 2 to the power k disjoint subsets. Okay. So the idea, this is the idea here. I'll tell you how to create that. So basically what I'm saying is, let's say this is 0, 1 to the power n. Then I want to create a partition here. Okay. I want to create a partition. Okay. And the number of classes in this partition, okay, here is 2 to the power k. Okay. So create a partition of 0, 1 to the power n into 2 to the power k subsets, or you can say disjoint subset. Prove this, how to create this partition, disjoint subsets of 0, 1 to the power n. And let me say this is d1, this is d2, and so on. This is k to the power k. Okay. Such that get a partition this into the let us denote the subsets, okay, as d1, d2, d to the power k. Okay. Now, since whenever you send a vector v, you will receive r, but r then definitely will be in one of these dj's or di's. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll make a correspondence with each of these di's. So let's say I receive this r, then r belongs to di for some I. Okay, definitely it will be there because it's an n-length sequence. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll make a 1-1 correspond. See, there are 2 to the power k code words, and exactly I have partitioned into sets. Okay, number of sets here is also 2 to the power k. So my intuition is, so I will associate these di's with vi's. So once this ri, okay, is in some di, I'll interpret that r, this error r, that the correct coding, correct code word for this r is actually vi. So I'll make a 1-1 correspondence with d and vi. Okay, and once I receive r, then r must belong to some di, and then I'll define this r as vi. So this is my plan. So r, the vector r, will be decoded as vi. You got it? So the plan here is, once v is sent through this channel, this is a noisy channel. Okay. So then whatever I receive r, then this r belongs to this one. This 0, 1 to the power n. I already have partitioned this based on, let's say, v1, v2, v3. So whatever my di's are, that depends on vi's. Okay, so there are 2 to the power k subsets, okay, which form this partition. Since once ri belongs to some di, I will decode this r as my vi. And this is how my decoding process will go on. So this is the idea. This is what we are going to do. So now, if we can have a method to determine this partition, which will have a 1-1 correspondence with the original code words, then I'm done. And there will be no decoding error. Okay, everything, I mean, the decoding will be correct. Okay, if this received vector r, okay, whenever it belongs to some di, the code word vi is the corresponding code word for the received one r. Then I'll say if that is correct, then I'll say this is a correct decoding. Okay. So my decoder will every time do this. Okay. Okay. So now let us begin how to create this partition. Okay. Okay. What's the time? Okay. Take it. So first we'll create a matrix type of a thing. Okay. And an array, you can say. Okay. An array I'll create. Now what I'll do here is first, since I know the, let's say the code words, okay, or I know the use, let's say, I can create the VIs through the generator matrix. Okay. So there can be a circuit which will do that because it is just a multiplication, a vector matrix multiplication. Okay. So I'll create an array, something like this. So first, I'll write V1, which is actually the 0 vector. Okay. So when I say it is an array, so I'm talking about a matrix. So I have to fill up the entries of this matrix. Okay. So I'm creating a matrix, which is a big matrix, and see how I'm creating it. First, V1 is 0. 0 means what? All are 0. This row. Okay. Of length n. Then I'll say V2. This is my another vector, which is a code word. And I'll keep on doing this. So I'm constructing my first row. Then I'll say BI, keep on doing that, V to the power K. So first, I'm creating this array whose first row are nothing but the stack of the code words. Okay. And the first entry is the all 0 vector. Okay. Now I'll create the next row. Okay. Now, how do I create the next row? I'm saying you choose any n tuple and put it here. Let me write it as like E2. Okay, E2 is any vector. You just put it here. Okay. Then rest of the entries, rest of the rows, okay, entries of the row, you fill up like this. This is E2 plus V2 dot 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 E2 plus BI dot 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 E2 plus V to the power K. If you love this, then I have to pick an E3, which is not E2 or not 0. Because if I pick it 0, then I'll get back the same row again. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'll pick an n tuple, okay, and a string of bits of length n, which is not E2 and not E1. And then I'll keep on doing this. I'll write E3 plus V2 dot 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 E3 plus VI dot 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 E3 plus V to the power K. So basically there is a meaning why I'm writing is E2, E3 because they are the error patterns. Okay, and how many such error patterns could be there? This is 2 to the power n minus K. Can anybody tell me why it is? So how many such vectors I'll be able to choose? E1, E2, E1 is 0, let's say, E3, E4, and keep on doing that. But I have to choose something which is not previously used. And how many ways I can do that? How many ways I can choose this initial vector?
So what is the length of EN?
Length is exactly the length of V1. So it is n, length n. So the length. Length of V1 is exactly length of V2, exactly length of V3. Similarly, length of, so V1, V2, V3, V to the power K are nothing but the code words, right? So this is, yeah, this is the code word. So each V1, V2, V to the power K, they are nothing but n length binary digits. So now what I'm doing is I am creating an array which I'll exploit in order to define my decoding process. So how I'm doing it, I'm creating this array. First, in the first row, I stack all the rows, okay, all the code words, okay, in the first row. Second, I'm saying, okay, U2 you choose, okay, which is not used. And then you write E2 plus V. See, if E2 is one of these VIs, then E2 plus V2 is also one of the VIs because this VI is from a vector space because this is a linear code. Right? And I don't want to do that. So I want to create a different array. So I have to choose E2, which is not used previously. Then I'll choose E3, which is not used previously. And I keep on doing this. Then the question is how many rows then I will have?
Sir, 2 raised to the power n minus 2 raised to the power k.
Okay, why is that?
Because sir, total we have 2 raised to the power n and 2 raised to the power k we have already used. So remaining will be 2 raised to the power n minus 2 raised to the power k.
And what about these entries? I mean, it's this, just a minute. These entries.
Yes, sir, we have this. We also have to subtract.
Yeah, so how many ultimately? Okay, first of all, let's say, can this be equal to this? Or can any to this row be equal to this? Can this be equal to this? If that is equal, then Vi will be equal to V2, which is not the case because it is a linear, so all are distinct entries because there are 2 to the power K. So each of these are different. They are not same. You fix any row and all the stacks of the row vectors, they're all different. So using this process, what I was saying is we want to use all possible n tuples in this particular row, in this particular array. So then how many? So, okay, in each row, how many are there? How many tuples are there? 2 to the power K, right? 2 to the power K, because starting from V1, V2, V3, dot, 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 up to the power K. So if it is 2 to the power K vectors, and what is there? 2 to the power n number of vectors I need to complete. So in each row, I have 2 to the power K. Then how many? Okay, so yeah, so number of columns you can say, like if I call it a block column. So here is one column, here is one column. So there are 2 to the power K columns. Okay, then how many rows will be there? There is another way to look into it. And all are different. So I will have 2 to the power n number of vectors here in this array. Because ultimately, see, I want to create a partition here, right? And I create a partition here. So, and this is the partition of 0 to the power n. So there are 2 to the power n vectors. And I want to create an array which contains all these possible 0, 1 to the power n vectors.
So 2 raised to the power n minus k.
Yeah, but yeah, 2 raised to n minus k, but there are some things remain to prove, okay? Okay, I'll come back to that, but let me first write it down. So it is e 2 to the power n minus k, and this is e 2 to the power n minus k plus v2 dot 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 e to the power 2 to the power n minus k plus vi dot 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 e to the power 2 to the power n minus k plus v to the power k. So this is my array. Now, what are the properties of this array? Okay. So what are the properties of this array? So first properties of the array. Okay. So this is actually called, it has a name, I think, standard array. Standard array. So what are the properties? The first property is that any two n tuples in a row, okay, are different, which is obvious, right? I already gave you the explanation, because you can say, like, because all the code words are different, right? So it means what? Suppose some EI plus some VJ is equal to some EI plus some VL, right? If they are equal, then VJ will be equal to VL, which are not. So all the code words are different. So any n tuple here in any row, they're all different. Okay. Now, next property. Next property. Any n tuple, okay, can appear in the array okay, exactly in one row. Can anybody tell me how to prove this? This is also simple. Any 0, 1, any vector of 0, 1s of length n, okay, can appear only in one position. And this E1, E2, E3, because of the construction of this array, I said E1 is different from E2, is different from E3, and different from dot dot dot. Everything else. Can anyone tell me? Okay, do you know about coset? Group coset?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Can anyone tell me? Now, okay, suppose we're going to prove it, that it cannot appear twice, okay, in two different rows, let's say, then what is that we have to assume? Okay, let us assume that there are two rows where it can appear. The same n tuple can appear in two different rows. Then what will happen? Then it will, yeah, then it will be some EL plus, let's say, some VI and EM plus some VJ, that n tuple, because it appears the same n tuple appears in two different rows. So one row corresponds to, let's say, EL, and other row corresponds to, let's say, some EM. So it will be like correspond to EL means it will be some EL plus some VJ or VI, and correspond to the EM row, it is some EM plus VJ, and they are equal because they're the same n tuple. If you make that equal, then what will happen? Okay, so proof. Okay, suppose it is not the case, then what will happen? It is not the case. Then what will happen? What will happen? Then there must be there must be an n tuple, okay, or you can say there must be some x which belongs to 0, 1, such that x equal to some EL, okay, EL plus some VI, and x is also equal to some EM plus some VJ, okay, right? You can do that. And since they're equal, you can say EL plus VI is equal to EM plus VJ. So if this is the case, then what will happen? Then we can say EM is equal to EL plus VI plus VJ. But VI and VJ both are code words. So this is also a code word. Okay. So let's say this code word is something. So this is EL plus some B some S. Then what will happen?
Sir, EM belongs to.
Yeah.
So this.
So this is a contradiction. Because I said due to the construction, one EM cannot belong to the previous vector. So we are always choosing this way. So this is a contradiction. Okay, so it cannot happen. So there are exactly 2 to the power n minus k disjoint rows in this array, and each row contains 2 to the power k distinct elements, right? And each row now I'll call a coset. Why I'm calling it a coset? Yeah, somebody, I think Gautam said, you know the definition of coset. What is that?
It's a coset defined by a subgroup of a group. Like so,
Okay.
So we define a coset of a subgroup H of this form X, like plus X plus H. Here plus
Yeah.
may be any operation.
Yeah, so here the same thing is happening. You see, let's say the first row, let's say E1 is equal to, let's say 0. So second row is what? E1 plus V2, because 0 plus V2 is equal to V2. Dot 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 E1 plus VI dot 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 E1 plus V to the power K. Next row, E2, fix E2. Then the next entries are E2 plus V2, E2 plus V3 dot dot dot. And this V1, V2, Vk, that forms a vector space. That means that's a group. So it has exactly the coset structure. So each of these rows, okay, are nothing but cosets of the original group. So whenever I did not define the partition yet, but see what is the motivation here. So I'm trying to divide this entire group because vector space is also a group. Okay, so here it is, entire thing is a vector space, and I'm trying to create a partition. And how I'm doing it, I'm actually using the subspace here. The subspace is actually the code. Subspace is actually the code. This code I'm using. So I'm adding E2 plus this subspace, E3 plus this subspace, E1 plus this subspace, and so on. Okay, so I'm creating some cosets here. Okay, so this each row of this array is called a coset. Okay, so how many cosets are there? 2 to the power n minus k. Cosets are there. And in each coset, there are 2 to the power k distinct elements. Okay. And since each coset is defined by this, okay, defined by these vectors, okay, the 0 vector here. So this I'll call as the leader of the coset, or the representative of the coset. Okay, so let me define this. Define. We call each row of the standard array as coset and EI as, so I is from, you can say 1 to the, so 0 is the E1 actually, n minus k, okay? And EI is called the leader or the representative of the coset, okay? Any question till now? No question. Now I'll define what is my partition. So I'll define definition of the partition. So I'm supposed to define what is called DJ. Okay, so here I had this 0, 1 to the power n and to divide it into 2 to the power k partitions, classes. Okay, so and each of these are denoted, A is denoted by D1, D2, DJ, and so on. So DJ is my VJ, E2 plus VJ, E3 plus VJ, dot dot dot, E to the power to the power n minus k plus VJ. So there is a representative, and I add all the error pattern with this. Because any E1 can be considered as an error pattern, right? Because 2 to the power n is a vector space. And adding the errors, this E1, E2, this, all these things, they can be considered as errors which can get added, which these are the errors which can get added to the code words, and it can produce different code words which belong to 0 and to the power n. So each of this is nothing but 2 to the power n minus k error patterns, and that will decide. So basically I'm picking the columns here as my partition. Okay, so that's it. So I have this partition DJ. Okay. Okay. So therefore, there are 2 to the power k, okay, classes or sets in the partition. Okay. And when some BJ is transferred or transmitted through the noisy channel, and I receive a vector R, which is, let's say, in DJ, so which is in the coset, then I'll say this error happened due to the coset leader, that is the error pattern. So I'll then rectify my error, my original code word as VJ instead of R. Okay, so now when VJ is transmitted and R is received, okay. So basically, you may forget about this, but this motivation behind this decoding process is that whenever I receive R, which belongs to DJ, okay, then I'll assume that VJ was transmitted. That's why I got it in DJ. So the corresponding error pattern is one of this. Okay. So yeah. Okay. DJ is received. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now when VJ is transmitted, R is received. The how do I write? Then I'll write the error pattern. Okay, let's say X. Okay, can be of the form X equal to some EL plus, let's say, VI, and therefore this receipt is nothing but Bj plus some X, which is Bj X equal to this, so it is EL plus this, so it is EL plus VI plus Vj is equal to EL plus some code word S. So the receipt vector R is in, let's say, some coset DS. So whenever I receive something, okay, that must belong to a coset, and I'll detect this as this original code word. Okay. Now I have to prove two theorems in order to conclude this, that how many errors can be fixed, or maybe, okay. Yeah, I think I will stop here. I'll not be able to prove this. Okay. Yeah, so if you have any question, you can ask me. Maybe we will continue.
Sir, can
next
you
day.
repeat this line? R equal to Vj belongs to X.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, suppose this is some error pattern. Okay, the X is the error pattern, but X is a n length string. Okay, and X must be some EL plus VI. X, because X is some error pattern, no, but every n length sequence is here in the array, right? So it is of this particular form, from some EL or from some VI. Okay, so this must be here somewhere if X is this error pattern. So now what I'm saying is, so R is actually some Vj, because Vj what let's send, plus some error pattern X, but X is of this form. Okay, so then X is of this form, then X is here. X can be written as this, I mean, X plus Vi if you write, so this is EL, and then Vi plus Vj. So then R is definitely of this form, EL plus some Vs. So whatever the error is, okay, which happened with this error pattern X, this is preserved. EL, and here the same EL is here, plus some code word. This is what I say.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, any other question? I think I can stop the recording.